What is up, nerds? It's me, your buddy, pal, HeyArcher. Welcome back to HeyArcher, the podcast here on Nerd Affiliated. We have Anthony in the house for this very, very special occasion, and that is we are finally going to review Ahsoka. Strike is over. It's the end of the year. We should have been talking about this being the greatest show of the year, but if you haven't already figured it out, it is not the greatest show of the year. Intro. All right, welcome back, everybody. As I said, it's the end of the year. Hopefully 2023 showed some mercy on all of you. I know for some of us it didn't as much, but Anthony, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Glad we're gonna finally get this off our chests because it's been sitting there for a while.
It's been brewing, just like a freaking. It's like that bug that's in your ear all the time.
Yeah,
You're just like you can't get rid of it.
can't get rid of it. The itch you can't quite reach because you're too huge from the gym.
Yep, exactly. So before we get underway, if you've not done so, hit the like down below, hit subscribe, head to nerdaffiliated.com, get some cool merch, join the channel memberships for $1 a month, support your boys, and I swear to Christ, member-only live streams are going to be happening this year. So, yeah. We're gonna go almost episode by episode. There may be a skip here and there. The way I wanted to format this, because I mean, we could talk for hours, literally jumping first episode, last episode, middle episode, Rebels, Clone Wars. We can do that whole thing. So I figure the easiest way to organize this, we're gonna go in order, talking as though we don't know what's gonna happen next, but more so breaking down why things were going wrong kind of as the show progressed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see that. I'm definitely going to follow your lead on this because I'm kind of biting my tongue to just scream something.
Exactly. Exactly. So going into the show, I figured I'd ask the question, was there hype for you on this show going into it? Do you remember if you were just kind of like meh going into it because of prior shows, or you were just like, I don't care, I'm just going to see what happens?
No, I was hyped for it because Filoni wrote it. He directed a bunch of the episodes. I was hoping that this was like the turnaround point. This was before he got appointed, whatever he is now, chief creative or something.
Yeah.
But no, there was hype for this show because, I love Rebels. Aaron loves Rebels. Season 3 of Mando was such a letdown. I haven't even bothered with Andor at all. Like, I think I started it and I just completely fell off and I have no desire to go back to it.
Yeah.
So, but this one, because again, in Mando, some of the little highlights were, well, actually not little highlights, because I was thinking, in Mando, Ahsoka's great.
Right.
And then we see Ahsoka again in Book of Boba Fett, the Mando episodes.
Yep.
And she's still good. Like, there was nothing really, I mean, you can argue like, okay, why didn't you sit Luke down and like say, hey, listen, ease up on some of these rules? But she didn't do anything too egregious there. Like her character wasn't spoiled. But then we come to this and I haven't rewatched it, but pretty much off the bat, even though I'll admit right up front, I did try to explain away a pretty egregious friggin' thing that they did. I tried to explain it away and I instantly got called on it like I should have.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just, from the get, it was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was also excited knowing that Dave was going to be running this thing. So, right away, I sat down, highest enthusiasm level, and I remember Amanda and her cousin came back as I was watching it, and my face kind of told the story as episode 1 went on. But immediately we start off the show with an unoriginal scene, which is the Balin taking over of the New Republic ship, freeing, I'm forgetting her name at the moment.
I can get that for you.
Yeah.
She played Morgan Elsbeth.
Morgan Elsbeth. Frees her, has his own hallway scene, and at first you're like, all right, cool, we're going to get some dope fight off the bat, but they literally just were recreating the Vader scene from Rogue One and not as good. So,
or the Luke scene from Mando.
Exactly. They're like, let's just do it again. We also get the first introduction of Ahsoka, and she's doing her kind of like Tomb Raider, Raiders of the Lost Ark thing. Like she has to get something. We don't know what it is. She comes out. She fights some droids. And we enter the moment where I'm like, all right, this is going to be trash. And that is when the droids decide they're going to self-destruct, kneel down, countdown timer goes off. She runs. When they finally detonate, nuclear level destruction from these, I think it was 3 droids that were there. Like the
3 or 4.
City just wiped. And I was like, all right, you've done the light speed destruction, the hold door maneuver, whatever it's called. Like you've now introduced a new form of destruction that you're going to have to ignore can happen again going forward.
Yeah.
In this first episode, was there a part where you kind of checked out, or as the show progressed, you kept being like, all right, let's just see where this goes?
And I shouldn't, shame on me, I should have reviewed a little bit better. In the first episode, they do the whole like anniversary on Lothal, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that whole scene where like the governor is looking for Sabine, and like, you know, we said it in our chat, and there's no better way to put it. They're treating her like she's a spoiled princess who ran away versus the kid, not kid, but well, yeah, when she was a kid, young adult Mandalorian who's been running Black Ops, you know, since the start of the really before there was a formal rebellion, because on the show they just refer to themselves as cells.
Right.
So before like there's the Rebel Alliance or any of that, you know, she's been doing this stuff since she was a young woman. I don't know what age she's supposed to be in the show, but yeah, but now you're going from that to, oh, she's not going to, we need her here. She has to be here for, you know, this day, and it's a ceremony. It's an important, and she's important. It's like, why? Like there's other heroes of that day there. And like, you know, it's also weird on her part, because it's like, why wouldn't you just show up? Yeah, you did that. You stayed there. You stayed there. Did you stay there? Like, does everybody have to go from being like a hero in the war to being a fucking hermit someplace?
Yeah.
Which is what they turned her into, which I can see her withdrawing a little bit, but not to the extent that they did. And also, I just don't like, I mean, I'm just going to say it. I don't like that they made her a Padawan.
Yeah.
Essentially. Like, that was just so out of left field. I feel like that takes away from the character that we got to know and love on Rebels. And it was just like a head scratching moment. It's like, why? Why? I don't get it.
Yeah. At the time of Rebels, season 1, she was 16. And then by the time the Ahsoka show is on, she is 30. That's where I estimate she was. And yeah, it was very Disney princess. Like, I don't want to be a queen. I don't want to do any of that stuff. Like her fleeing the city to escape the party. Like it was just really weird. And I was like, all right, I guess you're trying to appeal to young kids to be like, yeah, I'm a rebel. Because you even had like that rock music, which immediately took me out of the episode. Because I was like, this isn't very Star Wars-y, but you get that rock or K-pop sounding music, I think. It was playing. Didn't understand the point of all that stuff. But yeah, it was like when she makes the escape, and then when Ahsoka finally shows up, I was very confused as to who the show was going to be intended for, because they are like, Sabine seemed to be bothered by the past. Ahsoka seems to be bothered by the past. They both, when they finally interact with each other, are like, oh, shit happened, and people are like, oh, shit happened. But we've all seen the past. We've literally watched all of their journey, with the exception of the Rebels finale, whatever happens after that. But we've seen so much between the two of them and between them and everybody else that I'm like, there's nothing to allude to. We already know what happened. So why are you being so vague about stuff? Why are you acting like you're so sad when all we've seen is you win? You won in Rebels. Yeah. You won because the Empire fell ultimately. What else? What are we sad about? It was really confusing. Yeah. Really confusing.
Exactly. It's like, of course, they're sad about Kanan and Ezra and the losses, but it's also like you just said, they won so much, and not to say that fully erases that, but it's like, come on,
yeah.
Like, then be more proactive about it. Don't sit and wait. You literally did nothing until the MacGuffin fell into your lap and kicked you back into this whole thing again.
Yeah. We ultimately get the word that there's a map, and the map is going to lead them to Ezra and Thrawn. Not sure why we have to do the map thing again. Very weird. And they literally say that she can figure out this map because she's an artist. Because she can draw. Weird choice.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, she has so many other skills to go with.
Yeah, exactly. She ends up stealing the orb to go back to her place. And by the way, Galen and Blondie knew about Ahsoka, knew about the Rebel Squad, knew about Lothal, and they head over there because they're like, that's where the map is going to be. She literally just randomly spins this thing to get it to turn on. And that was like, they didn't even try to make it seem like, oh, the art on it, it's something to like what she studied. I don't know. You could have literally made it anything. She's literally just like turning it. Map activates. Yeah. Well, it activates. We end up getting that Blondie shows up. They get into a fight. She gets bladed through the stomach. Survives.
Yeah, and that's the part where I tried to explain away, and everybody rightfully gave me shit for it.
Yeah,
I was trying to have it be a good show. I was really trying, but then there's just especially because way later they prove how having a lightsaber in something is very, very damaging and bad for those who forgot, like me.
Yeah,
but like honestly, the moment where, because she didn't, and I remember now, she didn't even see Blondie. She saw the droids. She was fighting the droids, and then she takes the elevator down. So that's the other thing. Like, she's not wearing her armor anymore. Okay, maybe because like there's no war and she doesn't need to be armored up anymore. Even though every other fucking Mandalorian barely take the helmet at most, but you never see Bo-Katan like sitting around without that stuff on. Yeah. Anyway, so she has the fight with the robots, the droids, and then they jump off the building. Rather than throwing on your jetpack real quick, even part of your armor, you grab your lightsaber for no apparent reason, and then you take the express down, and then you just so happen to find another Force user. Again, it takes away from her character. She learned a lot in Rebels, and she's a Mandalorian. She's great with all weapons, but if she's still good with blasters. If she hasn't been picking up a lightsaber in a while, I think it's so ridiculous that that's her go-to move.
Yeah.
Because she didn't know she was going to need it. And again, gauntlet, blaster, and throw on the jetpack. No other armor on. The gauntlets have a couple tools to help fight Force users. We see that in an episode of Rebels. She gets an upgrade. you know, after that, after the impalement, that could kick her into, all right, I guess I got to use this lightsaber again. Because if I'm going to be going up against these guys, it wouldn't hurt to have this and all my other skills.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, you know, you go into episode 3, and I think this is the juncture where you realize there's no care being done here. They're just like, we have to get from A to B, or maybe in this case, A to Z. And instead of taking our time to map out how we're going to do all of this stuff, we're just going to let stuff happen. We're just going to push through action scenes, even if they make no sense, for the sake of advancing to everybody being in one place so we can activate this map. And episode 3 opens up with, again, now we're biting previous things. She's doing lightsaber training with Ahsoka with the flash thing over with the helmet.
Yeah, the face shield down.
Yeah. Say what you will about it, I guess. I don't understand why at that point they're establishing that, 1, she's Jedi, and 2, really leaning into you can really just learn it. It has nothing to do with you're being chosen or destined. And to me, it undoes what is established in Rogue One when we have the Tony Jaa.
Oh, I know who you mean. I don't remember. I'm terrible with. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. I'll butcher it.
Well,
but
Sticks, essentially John Wick, Sticks in Rogue One. He established that he was Force sensitive, and that he was a Jedi in training, but he's not strong enough in the Force, and therefore can never become a full-on Jedi.
Yeah,
and I thought that was
a temple guard.
Exactly. I was like, that's a really good thing. Like, there's levels to the game. It's not just Force, no Force. Like, there's people that will fall in there, like Leia, right? Leia in Empire Strikes Back. That's the first time that you get the impression, oh, there's some Force sensitivity there. So there's levels to it. And in episode 3, they're kind of just like, no, like, you can learn it. Like, you can do this. And obviously they're like, she has it, but yet has never shown it. Like, really,
they didn't. It was such a weird thing to do. They never allude to it in Rebels. Like, the only reason she does lightsaber training is because she has to deal with the dark saber.
Exactly.
And she needs to know how to use a lightsaber.
Right.
Only reason that she is picking up the training. Otherwise, if the dark saber never came into her hands, they would never have done it. So, there was no like spark of anything. And Kanan's hanging around her way more than Ezra. They've, in theory, been in skirmishes way before Ezra came along.
Yep.
Maybe, like, he would have gotten a sense where she, if she's at all in tune, she would have like, down. And then like, he's like, yeah, you should get down, but I knew that. How did you know that? And then the ball gets rolling from there. But they never do that. It's not that I'm hating that there's a female Jedi before anybody. I feel like our audience is pretty good. But for anybody else who happens to listen to this, I'm fine with a female Jedi. I'm fine. I love Ahsoka. I love her character on the Clone Wars. It's just you're not following your own rules.
Right.
It needs to make sense. I have expectations of what a Jedi is, and like everything that you've shown me, midichlorians count, you're the scion of the Force, whatever. But it's such a random thing. And I think it just takes away from her character.
Yes.
So
exactly. So at this point we realize, all right, she's going to be trying to learn it. We're going to see what happens, but ultimately we don't know for sure whether she's going to be able to use it or not. They get attacked by, I'm just going to keep calling her Blondie, because you know what? I started to like her character, and then by the time the show ended, I was like, you're absolutely pointless. But
Shin,
yes. Blondie. she shows up with Malik. Galen.
Merrick. Yeah.
Who?
No. Balin's skull.
No, but remember there was a mask guy that everybody's like,
Oh,
oh,
right.
who's he? Merrick, I think his name
Right,
was.
right. I'm on the. Keep going. I'm looking to see if they
So, well,
give
they
him a
show up and they
name.
start attacking Ahsoka's ship, and they literally blast the ship to the point that it can't move anymore. And as the solution, writing wise, is Ahsoka's just going to get on the wing in space and and start deflecting the shots from them. And,
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, Disney, like let's I get it. We're just gonna
Yeah.
let's just do random things, you know.
Yeah, that was very dumb.
Yeah, I could see if they crashed
Like,
on the planet, you know, like just let them crash land, and then we move on. But what's the point of this whole? She's literally she's dodging shots, and it's hitting the ship with no shields. I don't get it.
yeah. It worked better in Rebels. They did the same thing with Ezra in Rebels, and it worked way better in that show.
Yeah. People praised this episode, by the way.
Oh, did they? Which one was this? 4?
That's on
3?
That's 3. Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, no, that was not good.
No. But at this point, episode ends. People are hyped over Merrick. They're hyped that they're now at the same planet as Balin, and this wherever this star map can be applied to show a larger map type thing. At this point, do you remember if you were hoping Merrick was somebody? Like, did you have any speculation as to who he was going to be under that mask, or
I was hoping he was going to be Star Killer.
you were on the Starkiller camp? Yeah.
I was on the Star Killer campaign because that would have just been, obviously very cool.
Yeah.
The Apprentice of Skywalker versus the Apprentice of Vader.
Yeah.
And they've shown that there's stuff that's happened between the prequels and the original trilogy, and they've made it work. Like Rogue One, I feel like Kenobi worked. They've made it work, even though we thought so. He could have been floating around in there, and then obviously just adjust, because I know in the games his character actually is the inspiration for the flag of the rebels, and he's the inspiration for all the people, the head of the Rebel Alliance, to really get it going. But I mean, with slight adjustments, I would have loved to see Sam Witwer, right, take that helmet off and make his live action debut.
Yeah, I was more camp of that than I was the theory that Ezra was under there, because people started to speculate, oh, Ezra got turned and he's helping them. But to me, that was immediately debunked because they're trying to find Thrawn and he's off with Thrawn. So
I didn't
I wasn't
understand
sure why people were believing that as much.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. But either way, they somehow shoot down one of the ships. They escape. They land on the planet. And as they're down there, Ahsoka and Sabine have a conversation about... we're in episode 4. They have a conversation about having to do the right thing, whether it's what you want or not, which I think worst setup of all time.
Yeah.
We do get a cool fight scene with Hugh Yang and some of those droids. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that character too. David Tennant's character.
He was a highlight of that show for sure. They go down. We now have a full-on lightsaber battle between the main characters, with the exception of Balin was not there.
Mm-hmm.
And for once, I'm cool with a subverted expectation. Ahsoka takes out Merrick, and he's nobody. However,
he's
just smoke.
Yeah, he's a Dathomir witch power thing.
Yeah. Made zero sense to me. Made zero sense. Like, at least have a in case people don't know, like a Darth Maul looking character in there. But they literally made it seem like it was just armor possessed, like straight up Full Metal Alchemist, just walking armor, no body in there. Smoke dissipates.
Yeah.
At this point, do you remember? Are you kind of hopeful because 4 episodes we're now at we're at where everybody's in the same spot. They didn't drag that on. We're in the same spot. We're gonna activate or not activate the map. Are you a little bought in at this point, or are you still like random ass shit's happening? But we're
Yeah, I'm trying to make myself get bought in. I'm like, okay, we're here. It's 4 down, 4 to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm trying, but it was. I think I'm the opposite. I think when he was just smoked, I was just like deflated, and I was just like, because again, I'm like, oh, we're having a lightsaber fight, and Sabine's going to her worst skill. She's using her worst skill set. You know, like you said, she's a painter. She's a black ops special forces friggin' nut job. She developed a weapon that could have killed every stormtrooper. I don't know if you know that from the show.
Yep.
Yeah. So she's this genius in terms of weaponry. But no, I'm going to go with because I want to impress my teacher. I'm going to go with the lightsaber that I really have no business using against somebody who has powers.
Yeah.
Like, again, use it in conjunction. I don't remember too well if she was using the blasters or if she was just trying to focus on being a Jedi at that point. She was just trying to do the Jedi.
She used some of her Mandalorian stuff, but not enough. Not an even split like it should have at most been.
Yeah, I was hoping, like, again, Force is all about balance, right? Jedis are all about balance. Mm-hmm. Balance your Mandalorian side with your weak-ass Padawan side. Yeah. So, yeah, sorry. Short answer, I'm trying to buy in, but I'm getting more and more removed and just watching it because, well, I guess I have to watch it. I committed 4 episodes already.
Exactly. And actually, a note I had here, this was about the point where a lot of us were saying, why is the show even called Ahsoka? Because Sabine is so much of the talking points of everybody that it was just very, very odd that the show is called Ahsoka.
They really should have just called it Rebels and, like, made it well, she wasn't really in Rebels. Hera commanded Phoenix Squadron, something. I mean, they had a whole bunch of other names. Like, I agree. Like, it's very much an ensemble show, even though it's supposed to be her show. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, I think episode 5 is the one episode where it was really dedicated to Ahsoka.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Well, before we get to that one, I mean, they essentially split up, and Ahsoka heads over to stop the map from being activated. Mm-hmm. Gets over there, showdown with Baylan. Personally, I'm like, all right, I'm interested in this. I do want to see how this fight will go. Baylan acknowledges knowing who Anakin is, meaning I know Vader's Anakin and that you were his Padawan. Like, there's a lot of Baylan knows a lot of shit, and at this point, everybody's just like, how do you know this? Will we get more explanation of this? They do a fight. She ends up eating it. You think she falls off the cliff, and then Sabine shows up, has the opportunity to destroy the map, and obviously opts not to. Mm-hmm. She has to find Ezra. And again, worst setup of all time because they literally just had this conversation in the beginning of this episode. Yeah. And figures they get put in the spot. She doesn't destroy it, doesn't really care about Ahsoka at that point. She's just like, all right, I'm going to go with you guys to help find Thrawn and Ezra. End of episode.
Yeah. That episode really made me just think, like, do I want to just skip it, binge it, like let it all come out and binge it? Yeah. Just to get it over with without having to wait week to week. And slight thing, your order is a little messed up. I'm pretty sure that, like, she's fighting Ray Stevenson's character and then Sabine shows up and they have a little back and forth and then she goes over the cliff and then because
Ahsoka's telling her to destroy it.
Yeah, she's telling her to destroy it, and like that scene would have played better if, like you said, they didn't do that whole thing in the ship. I
Yeah.
mean, basically, she just should, like, grab her by the chest plate and be like, "Listen, I get it, I miss him too. We cannot let Thrawn come back, right? Right? Use that tactical brain of yours. Use
Mm-hmm.
that because she's not even thinking with her heart, because
Yeah.
it's not like she like
Loves
goes
him.
there and like loves him or anything. She's like they make the whole like brother sister connection too, which is fine. I'm not saying they need to be romantically involved, but it's also like if I can, okay, fine. I can see you doing like extreme things for your family, extreme things for the person you love,
Yeah.
but it's also like, are you gonna really let the best tactician left from the Empire come back just because
Yeah.
you want to see your buddy again?
Yeah.
Just because you want to see like Hera, is she gonna if switch things up a little bit? She's gonna let Thoron come back because it was actually oh wow, I'm blanking on his name. Uh,
Who?
Kanan. Wow. It
Oh.
was actually Kanan. I'm saying switch things up a little bit. You're going to
Mm.
tell me Hera is going to sacrifice her son and his safety and the New Republic and all that stuff to see his father again, to her husband, the father, like on the off chance that he's alive. Because that's
Off
the other
chance.
thing.
Yeah.
It's not like they're communicating through the Force and I know you're out there. I just don't know where I am or any of that stuff. It's no. I'm pretty sure I feel it. Well, not even I feel it. That's the Force.
Yeah.
I think he's alive. I want
Yeah.
him to be alive.
Yeah.
I want him to be out there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they took a star destroyer with no windows into hyperspace,
Yeah.
and I don't know. That's the other thing too. Like Hera's in a full. Oh, excuse me. Ahsoka's in a full suit in that one episode on
Yeah.
the wing,
Yeah.
and then in Rebels they literally have Kanan and all the other guys like they put on a helmet
Yeah.
and they're out in space in
Yeah.
just like their regular uniforms. It's
Yeah.
like what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
It, the one saving grace I had there was when they activate the star map. And thanks for reminding me of those parts. I forgot about that. Like, 'cause I think she had a gun. She had a pistol to it. She had
Yeah,
a
she has one
blaster.
of her. Yeah, yeah,
Um, at that point, they acknowledge that the star map is taking them to another galaxy, and we're like, "Oh, interesting. We're actually gonna dive into that. Like, we're leaving the galaxy that we've seen all our stories in. We're gonna go somewhere new, somewhere different, somewhere cool." And they take off. She goes with them because Balin promised not to kill her,
hmm
and we don't know where Ahsoka has ended until she opens her eyes, and now she is where we think is the world between worlds,
yes.
staring Anakin in the face. People lose their shit.
I was one of them.
Absolutely lose their shit. I
One thing.
yeah,
Sorry, before you go on, uh, it really irritated me in this episode. Before we get to the Anakin one, her whole shtick since like I don't know what season 2 of the Clone Wars.
mm-hmm.
I have 2 lightsabers. I
Yes,
am a dual lightsaber fighter.
yes,
She fights Balin with one blade.
yes,
She'd
yes,
used 2 blades in season 2 to start fighting Morgan.
yeah,
And Morgan doesn't have the Force or anything. She had a friggin' spear,
yeah,
which is also made me laugh. Where it's like, why don't you use the Force, rip the spear out of her hand, and then drag her to you? Because I don't think a Force pull is indicative of the dark side. Like a Force choke to start getting your information, okay. But oh yeah, you got a spear. That's cute. And then drag her to you. End of fight.
yeah,
You are you're a full, not fully trained, but you're a very, very well versed Force user.
yeah, yeah.
Don't get it. Don't get
Yeah.
it. I forgot I had this other thing on my hip.
Well, they really made her, and so apparently Filoni is super special needs when it comes to Lord of the Rings. Like he loves Lord of the Rings. This will come back in 2 episodes from now as we're talking through this, but
Mm.
she's very, like you said, all of these people are like disenfranchised. They're like losers now. She's not fighting as she has her whole life for whatever reason, and she wakes up in the world between worlds, which we learned about in Rebels, which had its own plot holes and issues potentially, but we were able to get through it because everybody kind of acknowledged, all right, you went there once, you can't really get there again. Like the gate was destroyed or whatever.
hmm
And then we get the best episode of the season.
Yes,
And
hands down.
what's odd about this episode, one, they had it in theaters. You could have gone to see it in theaters, which in a way I regretted after seeing it. I was like, oh, that kind of would have been cool to see in theaters. But this episode is purely, oh, remember that thing from the cartoon? Here it is in live action.
Mm-hmm.
And you're on this journey with her from when she starts with Anakin to the Battle of Mandalore, where she's supposed to be learning a lesson. Do you know what that lesson is?
I was about to say, I have no idea what the lesson was supposed to be because, like, at the end of the fight, I choose to live, and it's like, you were never suicidal.
She was never Batman.
Yeah, you were never like. You're still talking to your not as often, but you're still talking to Hera. Okay, Sabine, fine. You have Uyang with you. Okay, fine, just a droid, not real person. But still, you're not isolating yourself. Jason runs up and gives you a hug.
Yeah.
Perfect. Jason, Hera's kid, Hera and Kanan's kid, for anybody not in the know, runs up, and I think he even calls her Aunt Ahsoka, maybe? I don't know, but he runs up, Ahsoka, gives you a hug. You're not like this black cloak wearing, like, disenfranchised Jedi who's like, you're not Luke. You're not waiting for death. I don't understand the whole, I choose to live. Well, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
What? Okay,
yeah.
Great, okay. Like that, I was waiting for that, like a big, great build-up, and then, like, I choose to live. Fuck, here we go again.
Yeah. We do get that Hera shows up with Jason, taking her son into danger, and he can hear her talking he hears the lightsabers, he hears the blasters, he hears all that stuff. And we're now learning that Jason is Force sensitive.
Shocking no one.
Yes. But then there's the weird move. Oh, I forgot actually one thing. Before Ahsoka fell into, again, at this point we think it's a world between worlds. At the time she falls, or before she fell, she was holding the orb at one point, and it was hot because it was activated.
Oh yeah,
and it burned her hand. And everybody's saying to themselves, "Oh, they're gonna pull a the Indiana Jones where like the map is burned on the hand."
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, it burned on the Nazi's hand, and that showed him the way.
Yeah, so everybody's thinking that's the direction we're gonna go here, but she gets burned. She even like looks at her hand, so you think, okay, that's gonna come back at some point. So Jason can hear it, and he tells Hera, if you just kind of settle in and just listen, you can hear all the stuff happening. The lightsabers, the blasters, all of it. She acknowledges that there's something happening. We don't really know for sure that she heard it. Maybe she just believes him. But they're like, all right, we're going to do some search patterns around here to try to find Ahsoka. She eventually wants to live. She comes to, and she's underwater. She's just underwater. And they find her, I think, washed up somewhere.
Just below the surface, maybe, I feel like. Because so it was confirmed by Filoni, right, that they didn't really go to the world between worlds.
Exactly.
And I'm just choosing to ignore that because I'm going to, my personal take is, fuck you, the Scion of the Force, to steal Sal's term, saw his Padawan, said, okay, no, we gotta, I gotta step in here. And he, being Anakin, being the powerful Force person that he is, especially now that he's one with the Force, he transported her to the world between worlds. There was no reason that shouldn't have been the official explanation, and that's what I'm running with. But personally,
and the thing is I hear you on it. I just think that she already got saved that way one time. Like, are we really gonna keep doing this with her and Anakin, where he doesn't intervene at any other time in history other than with her at this point?
I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I like it better than it's not right. I just like that better than she hallucinated the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because if she hallucinates the whole thing, jumping all the way to the very end for a quick second, why did his Force Ghost show up just to stare at her?
Yes.
If okay, like Ezra did what he did out of like desperation because he did, I'm sure, feel immense guilt because, to his knowledge, for at the time of Rebels, at the time of that episode, for say at least a year, 6 months to a year, he's been dealing with, I let Ahsoka die.
Right.
He sees her knee jerk reaction,
That's
rips
what I was
her
about
out
to say.
of the timeline.
Yeah.
And
Didn't even know it was going to work. He's literally just reacting.
he just did it. And now, difference, you have again Anakin, all powerful, one with the Force. He's doing it, but he's doing it because, all right, I've got to step in and finish training you, even though the final lesson made no sense.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, again, it does not work because, why wouldn't he go back and just fix everything? I get it. But I just like it better than, oh no, I hallucinated all this. I dreamt all this.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Your dreams are so powerful, Jason can hear them.
Yeah.
He's causing plot holes or plot issues with his explanation. Just don't say anything then.
Yeah. Exactly. But she wakes up, and for one, she's now gone from Ahsoka the Grey to Ahsoka the White.
Yep.
And has one of the scariest moments in all of Star Wars. We see Ahsoka without her headpiece, and just how the horns attached to the skin, and just people are all set on that one.
Yeah, I'm good. That's like when you see when you shave the first guy to pass out's eyebrows, and you're just like, whoa. The next day, you're like,
yeah.
There's a reason she's had a helmet or something on her entire career, her entire life on animation. Let's leave it that way. Yeah. Who would have thought I'd be arguing for Rosario Dawson to wear more clothes?
Facts. So we end the episode with her and Hera saying that they found Hera does not go with her. Where does her ship works?
Hera go.
Right.
Yeah, they fix the ship, and then Hera ultimately goes back because she's going to get arrested for sending troops out there.
Right.
Which that was like one of the more again, not Ahsoka show. They show a lot of like New Republic politics again, and it's just like that was one of the more infuriating things of the show too. Like watching that, like the wise. I mean, I get it, good acting because it made me feel away, but like the wise ass senator who you find out like sat on the sidelines during the Clone Wars and the rebellion and blah blah blah, like that little shit has it in for her, and she goes back to Coruscant to face court martial basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they can't find any other way to write the New Republic, because at this point they're just idiots. Like you really need to show us that a lot of these people are corrupt, because at this point they're all blatantly shown examples of the Empire still existing, and they're just like, no, can't be it, impossible.
Yeah, no, that's totally not the thing happening at all. And it's like, what? And it's like, I think Sal said this in our chat, but the New Republic has taken Operation Paperclip from World War II to a stupid level.
Yeah.
Like to the point, like, okay, some of the tech guys, sure, maybe a couple of bureaucrats, but no. And it's also weird because like in I think it was in Mandalorian where we had the episode where the clone guy and the woman on Coruscant, their date. Was that Mandalorian?
That was Andor. No. That was Mando. Mando season 3.
That was Mando. Yeah. It's like, why are you giving that person, not why are you giving her, why are you giving that person a job in the New Republic at all, period?
Yeah.
Like, okay, we got to reform them. You go to Tatooine, or, you go, granted, spreading your enemies to the wind so you don't have no idea what they're doing is not necessarily a great idea either. Yeah. But neither is having them as more or less integral parts of your New Republic.
Yeah. It's
just like, they're writing them as idiots, and there's really no turning back at this point. It's I know stories don't work like this really, but like somebody said a while ago, it's when we saw the first of the sequel trilogy, Force Awakens.
Hmm.
It was like for 30 years or whatever it was, our heroes had a happy ending.
Yeah.
They won. They beat the Empire. I never read the books, unfortunately, and now it doesn't matter really. But
Right.
I don't know how the New Republic was written in the books. But if you only just saw the movies, they won, beat the Empire. Somehow the New Republic gets on its feet, and it's better than the Empire, and it's better than the Old Republic,
Hmm.
and all this stuff. But they're just showing us how stupid these people are.
Yeah.
And it's making our heroes stupider and weaker too.
Yeah.
You
For
know,
no reason.
yeah.
I mean, the to get political for a second, because
Do
they
it.
always want to make things political. All you had to do was kind of do what happens in real life, where, in real life, you'll have a president that maybe they're there for 4 years, maybe they're there for 8 years, but people are always like, this sucks right now. They vote another way, and then the other way is the opposite way. Then you get 4 years or 8 years. People are like, that sucked, and then they vote back to what was prior, like the prior alternative. Usually you have this flip-flop. You could have easily just explained that's how the New Republic, or the what were
New
they
Republic.
called? No, but what were they called in the sequel trilogy? The Empire, First Order.
Oh, the First Order. Yeah.
You could explain that that's how they end up coming about. Like you could be like,
Oh
hey,
yeah, yeah, I got you.
because somebody
Yes. Yeah.
in one of the shows, they were saying how like people in some ways liked the Law and Order that was under the Empire. Like they've alluded to that in some of these Disney shows. So
Yeah.
that to me that makes more sense than and that people helped them get to power again versus the New Republic's just that stupid that the Empire had all the resources in the world and they were using your resources to create the First Order. Like that's
Yeah. Like
it's
leaving
silly.
having a loyal imperial. Well, not loyal because they swore allegiance to the New Republic. Okay, having a once loyal high up Empire guy. No.
Yeah.
Like you can't tell me that there weren't. Like, okay, fine. The Rebel Alliance was nowhere near the manpower of the Empire, and the Empire turned. The New Republic, the Old Republic, was a big bureaucratic nightmare beforehand too.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. You can't tell me that Leia. Granted, she wasn't in charge, but Leia and Mon Mothma and all them. You can't tell me that the ones that George Lucas wrote about thought this was a good idea.
Right.
This is just. This is unfortunately, it's very clear that this is all just setting up the sequel trilogy.
Exactly.
We have to make them stupid. We have to, and they are. I'm sorry, like doing this is a stupid move.
Yeah.
There is no way you can tell me this is a good idea. The fact that Mon Mothma, leader of the Rebel Alliance, is taking shit from this senator when her general is telling her X, Y, and Z about Thrawn and this and that and these and those. No, hey guy, fuck off.
Yeah.
I got an idea.
My actual
Fuck all the way
battle proven general, not one that was randomly appointed.
Exactly. Hey, I have an idea. Can I get R2 for a minute? R2, yeah, do me a favor. Show this guy the door.
Yeah.
I know R2 wasn't there, but you're not about to have C-3PO do that. And it pissed people off, but I didn't mind C-3PO showing up. Spoiler.
Well, for sake of time, I'll fly through.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. I mean that this episode was like almost like a second chance to either start liking the show or hate it even more. And you get to the final segment where they're like, how are we going to get to where they went? We have no idea where they went. And she gets the idea of the Purgles, of using the Purgles to hyperspace them to wherever Thrawn and Ezra were. I love the concept, but we've alluded to this 0 times in the show thus far. To know that the Purgles somehow use the same route to go back and forth and end up at the same planet every single time. It was out of nowhere. But
yeah.
I was like, whatever, fuck it. At this point, fuck it. So we bolt out there. We get to this new universe in the next episode. So you do an Empire Strikes Back type ending where they're like, all right, we're going to go get him. See you later. Boom. And you're just like, oh, okay, cool. We're doing something new. We're gonna do something new. We get into the next episode. She's still trying to use the Force, and nothing's happening. They land in the atmosphere of this new planet, in this new galaxy. Everything looks the same. Immediately, I was like, go fuck yourself. Like, this is your chance to, like, make this up. This is a big deal. This is literally a big deal. We're in a new galaxy. They come out of light speed. Nothing. We end up going to the planet. We end up finding this giant temple.
Mm-hmm.
Find out that the Night Sisters are there, and that Morgan.
No,
that Morgan is a Night Sister. And then Thrawn shows up in that broken ass Star Destroyer that went into hyperspace with no windows.
Mm-hmm.
Thing shows up
and was getting crushed by
Purgles. Shows up and has a full battalion in there, which after talking to some other YouTubers, I was like, you know what? I'm willing to believe that there was still people on the ship somewhere.
Yeah.
That part I can gather. But their suits are pieced back together Japanese style with like different metals and stuff, showing, I would assume, that they've been fighting something and that's why they're all damaged, because otherwise they have no reason to be battle damaged.
Yeah.
Thrawn shows up. It's the same voice actor from the cartoon. My man's been eating good.
Yep.
Uniform is clean. And he's like, I'm glad he showed up. This was like part of the plan.
Sure.
I'm lost.
Yeah.
I'm lost. Then they let Sabine go. They're like, we promised that you can go find Ezra. You got us to Thrawn. Let her ass go. Because they're like, we're going to use her to find him, even though they apparently knew he was out there. Could have easily, because by the way, they also have TIE fighters on this thing.
Yeah.
Easily could have found him because apparently he was down the street. But goes out there.
Yeah.
Ahsoka shows up. Apparently they had time to put landmines out there around this planet in the 2 seconds that they were there. Again, no reason. By the way, landmines weren't there at the end of this thing, but I say landmines because I just can't think of another phrase here. But what do they call it in submarine terms? Depth chargers?
No, it's depth charges. They drop off the ship.
That's what I thought.
But no, like it would just be an underwater mine that like they have weighted down. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got the mines surrounding every aspect of this planet somehow. Sabine gets out there. She fights some bandits. Again, thanks to the power of Beskar. Shout out to Mandalorian, making every Mandalorian bulletproof. She beats them. Would have been an opportunity for Ezra to help her because that was a obvious setup. They didn't do that. She finds Ezra. That leads us to episode 7. And at that point, Ahsoka comes down to the planet, randomly finds them. She has her standoff with Balin, who's also out there randomly. He's just like, I'm here for the thing.
Yeah.
He goes out there. Thrawn's like, fuck him. Thrawn, for some reason, is like, fuck Balin. We're out of here. Let's load up. Let's load up. Let's get out of here. You don't know what he's loading. But they need to kill some time. Load up. We get Ezra and Sabine versus some stormtroopers. Ahsoka shows up. They're all versus stormtroopers. Their ship gets destroyed yet again. And you end the episode with, we have to stop Thrawn from escaping. That's where we're at going into the final episode. Now, at this point, we've established that there's Night Sisters there. Thrawn has a whole army. Ezra apparently doesn't use lightsabers anymore. He's over it. And Sabine still doesn't really have the Force. That's what's been established. And Ahsoka now has 2 blades and let Balin escape. or she escaped.
Yeah.
However you want to think about it.
Yeah.
Episode 8.
I real quick, I
Yeah.
can understand Ezra not having a lightsaber because maybe there's no kyber crystals on that planet,
Right.
or whatever. So that I can forgive, and I was okay with him using Force Fu.
Yes.
Was cool for a
1000%.
minute until he's like, and it echoes a line from Rebels. He's like, or I'm pretty sure it was a line from Rebels. He's like, the Force is my ally. That's all I need. And like, I'm pretty sure Kanan said that.
Yeah.
And like, it's great. And then
I was down
2
for
seconds after he said, yeah, I was down for it. 2 seconds after that, like one force push and a back flip or something later, he steals the stormtrooper's blaster. And I'm like,
yeah,
all right, I guess,
Yeah.
I guess some, okay, moving on. Cool. That could have been really cool.
it could have been cool.
And real quick, also, it's like they forgot that they have stunt people. I was talking to somebody else about this, and they're like, well, Rosario Dawson can't do all that shit. I go, that's why stunt people exist. No, I do not expect Rosario Dawson to do any sort of crazy shit. I don't expect Tom Cruise to do any sort of crazy shit. Stunt people are here for a reason.
Yes.
And especially now, digital effects. Couple green dots, and Rosario Dawson is doing amazing shit, and you give credit to all the stunt people afterwards. Anyway, episode 8.
We start off with them on the ship, flying once again, moving at half the speed of smell. Just chilling.
Chilling. Yep.
He's building a lightsaber. No. Now he needs it. Now he needs a lightsaber.
Yeah.
No urgency. And they're like on like horseback and wagon essentially underneath the ship, like just chilling. And I'm like, you guys could not write this. You couldn't write that. They're like, oh, the ship's destroyed. F the ship. Let's just get there. How are we gonna get there? Ride the horses. Any way you could have wrote it, but they're just like, we're just gonna just cruise.
Something.
Just cruise.
It could have been Yang, fix the ship.
Yeah.
I have a couple of speeders in the cargo hold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes. Yeah. Anything. Literally anything. Thrawn sent 2 ships out there to destroy them. Both ships were confirmed down, but they also confirmed Ahsoka's ship was down. People had beef that Thrawn didn't send out more ships at that point, because actually he could have sent out 10, 20, 50 at one shot and just wiped out everybody. However, I do think that line could have been, or that thought could have been solved with send out 2. I don't know what to expect when we get back to our galaxy. I don't want to send out more than I have to because I'm not trying to get caught, with my pants down.
Yeah.
So I think that could have easily explained why he sent 2 and then was like, I'm good. But all of a sudden they do what they got to do. They realize, oh shit, we have to go stop Thrawn. Oh yeah. Now they rush. They get out to the ship. He's done loading whatever he's got to load. And then they're like, oh, there they go. They're down there. He's like, great, shoot him. So they start shooting. They're riding on the horses. They're like, oh, we're going to get through. Thrawn left the door open to the tower that leads straight to the inside of the ship for whatever reason. The door was unlocked because they had to use the Force to push the doors open. In which case they're like, Sabine, help us.
Yeah, it's like, really?
Yeah. It's like when you give your little cousin or little brother like the controller that's unplugged, and you're like, yeah, you're playing with me,
Yeah.
So again, I thought at that point this is like a confidence booster thing. They're just trying to get her mojo back. Like we all know she doesn't have the Force. They're just trying to make sure that she's with it by the time we got to get down. We go in there. Stormtroopers show up. They have the laziest attack done to them by stormtroopers. And then the stormtroopers come back to life, introducing zombie troopers in Star Wars. People went nuts for this. What were your thoughts on this?
In a good way?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. People were like, sweet.
First of all, real quick, the lightsaber fight that they had with the stormtroopers before they killed them all, terrible. Again, do you not remember that fucking oh wow, stunt people? Do you not remember that stunt people exist? Did you not have the budget?
Yeah. Yeah.
Your Disney Star Wars. Did Kathleen like hold out or something? What the hell were you thinking?
Yeah.
That was the worst lightsaber fight next to the first one between Balin and Ahsoka.
Yes.
I thought that was stupid. I thought them coming back and being possessed by the Dathomirian magic was terrible.
Yeah.
Unless you tell us first that, like, because again, you've been on the planet for like what, 7 years?
Mm-hmm.
Like, End of Rebels is a year or two before A New Hope. A New Hope to Empire to Return was like 10 years, maybe. How long were they? I don't know. Whatever.
Oh.
So, part of my math. It's been a long time that they've been on the planet. Your ship is still got fuel somehow. You're feeding all your troopers somehow. All this shit like gas and resources are not a problem for you people.
Yeah.
No, right up front.
5
You
years, by
know.
the way. You're talking about New Hope to Jedi?
Well, I was just thinking actually. At first, I was going to say return to season 1 of Mando, but then I remember that Rebels ends way before that. So you got the end of Rebels to
Oh, 5 years.
well, that's return to Mando, but I'm saying end of Rebels to Return would be how many years?
Oh, that would be 6 years.
That's 6 years. Okay, so now it's 11 years plus. Call it 13, 14 years. Between end of Rebels and us showing up on that planet. You got whatever I
Yep.
just said, 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
Where your ship has still been hovering for 12 years.
Yep.
You're feeding your guys, all
Yep.
this other stuff. No, I have limited supplies. I can forage for myself. The Night Sisters can help give me supplies for small people, not for an entire Star Destroyer of stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what, guys? Do your thing, and they've since the beginning enslaved them,
Yeah.
and that's how they survived. And they're not necessarily zombies; they're just like magically imbued and have a hell of a resistance to dying.
Yeah.
No, but the zombie thing, like, I don't know. There's better ways to explain it away. Not the way I just tried to explain it away, but there's better ways to do it than zombie stormtroopers.
Yeah.
That is fucking stupid.
Yeah. They so they fight them, climb the tower. Elsbeth is there. She was given the assignment to stop them. She lets 2 out of the 3 go because she's now on this vendetta against Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm. And she's been powered up at this point by Claudia Black's sister, Night Sister.
Yep. She goes super Namekian for you Dragon Ball Z folks out there. And Ahsoka wins pretty easily, I'd say. Wasn't as dope of a fight as I wanted it to be, but is what it is.
Nope. She does lose a blade in the fight, which made no sense, but okay.
Mm-hmm. And then she gets to the top and starts fighting off more stormtroopers, and then that's when Ezra and Sabine are like, we have to get on the ship.
No. She's fighting Morgan. Ezra and Sabine go up top. They handle some stormtroopers. They're going to do the move that Kanan and Ezra did, where Ezra force jumps and then Kanan pushes him to make it the rest of the way.
Yep, I love that move.
And that move is a really cool move. Sabine,
not in that scene.
Sabine, a little bit beforehand, finally was able to force grab her lightsaber off the ground.
Yeah.
You mean she couldn't help you with the door? It just barely got to her. But no, I can throw you across this giant, vast space, and you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not dealing with any sort of rules or restraints anymore.
No.
She gets Ezra on the ship, and then Ezra waiting to like pull her across never happens because she turns to go back to Ahsoka. And then they fight some more zombie troopers, and then Ouyang has remembered that there's a throttle on the ship, shows up. I think they do a Back to the Future where they jump off and then the ship comes up into view, like Back to the Future 2.
Yep.
And then does the tower get destroyed somehow? Does Thrawn blast it at the last second?
For no reason.
Okay, so yeah, so
'Cause
Thrawn
he better
blasts
hope he
it.
never ends up back there again, because now his resources gone.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then and then he they dock with that giant ring. They make the jump back to our galaxy. Sabine and Ahsoka are left in the galaxy far, far away with Balin and Shin.
Mm-hmm.
And like again, in things just happen. However long the trip is, Ezra manages to stay secluded. Well, not secluded because like he kills some stormtroopers and puts on their armor. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
fine. That's a good trick. That's a good trick. Nobody's
Rebels trick.
You got the Knights. The Night Sisters seem to be able to detect Jedi around, but somehow they're too focused to detect this one guy.
Mm-hmm.
He manages to they get out of hyperspace. He steals the worst fucking cargo ship in the fleet.
Mm-hmm.
This was the only thing that didn't get repaired out there. He steals the cargo ship. They don't blast him out of the sky.
Nope.
He manages to find Hera.
Yep.
No explanation. They let him dock, which you would think, hey, did this not just happen earlier in the episode? Earlier in this
literally
series?
the same season. Yep.
Didn't we let a ship come on and it didn't work out too well for us? Whatever. And he's still wearing the stormtrooper armor.
Yep.
Full head to toe helmet and all. Because I need to do a big dramatic reveal. It's like, wait, dude, do you know you're in a TV show? Are you Deadpooling us right now? Are you like winking and nodding like, hey guys, watch this. She's going to fucking lose her shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Chopper recognizes that. Oh, by the way, Chopper, highlight of the show too. Him, I think it was episode when they're on Corellia, I think, or the shipyard planet. Him basically saying, "Blast it out of the sky, let the ship fall and destroy the city." Is just like, okay, Chopper still loves war crimes, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Chopper, because I guess he scans him, realizes that it's Ezra. He takes the helmet off, and they have their big reunion. And then we're back in a galaxy far, far away, and kind of like I guess they're going for a New Hope thing. Ahsoka and Sabine are staring off into the horizon, and Sabine walks away but stops and turns, and she's like, and Ahsoka's like, what? Nothing. And then I think Ahsoka eventually walks away, and then we see Force Ghost Anakin creeping on everybody, just being like, yes, okay, this is good, yes. And I totally stole your show, sorry, for the last 5 minutes. But that's the end of Ahsoka season 1.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, and of course, there's a scene, I'm sorry, and you do see Thrawn and the Night Sisters. I believe it's Dathomir that they're in orbit above.
Yep.
And that's where we leave them, and that's where we leave everybody else. And personally, after watching that, I'm like, what? Oh, and Balin is staring at. Sorry, really last thing. Balin is standing on top of statues of the
Father,
the incarnation of the Force, the Father, the Son, and the Daughter.
Yeah.
I believe the other two are kind of destroyed, but it's very clearly the Father. And Shin is back with the group of bandits on that planet
that she
of course
somehow made a friendship with.
Yeah, and so, and that's where we leave everybody. And and after all that, I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This
literally the worst case scenario happened, and everybody was happy about it.
Everybody's fine. Everybody is fine. Ahsoka, I mean, okay, fine. Ahsoka's the stoic Jedi. She has faith in the Force. Sabine's nothing.
Yeah.
With the Force, excuse me. Not nothing, but she's nothing with the Force. She doesn't have that stoicism built in, trained into her yet. She's a passionate Mandalorian. We got to figure this out. We need those Purgos back. Do your thing. Get us back to our... No. Ezra's back where he's supposed to be. It's basically as if she smoked a joint. He's like, chill. We're cool. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
She had some of that fucking blue milk that Luke was drinking.
Yep.
But, oh, God. Yeah, no, that show was that was such a letdown. The Anakin stuff was great. The Balin stuff was great. And give me a Clone Wars miniseries where you get Ewan and Hayden and the woman who played young Ahsoka. Just do a couple shows like that and just stop trying to move forward. Stop trying to lead us to the sequel trilogy. Stop.
I think I'm over the Skywalker saga. I think I'm at the point now where I'm ready for something new. I'm absolutely ready for something new. But I mean, I feel like we can go a whole hour about the Balin stuff, about my whole. I can go an hour on the Dathomir stuff not making any sense, but alas, we do have to wrap.
Time's up. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
But my grade for the series.
Yeah.
What's your grade?
The show is.
Give it in lightsabers. A half a lightsaber.
Or out of 5?
Yeah, because I don't feel like there's no needs to go to 10 on this.
I feel like this show, I have to judge it based on the other shows we've received. So this show gets a maybe 2.5 lightsabers out of 5. And the only reason it's above Book of Boba Fett is the Mando episodes. And I thought the train heist episode was interesting. This show, I think, had nothing interesting about it. It had interesting ideas, but didn't actually do anything interesting. So I'm contradicting myself.
You are, because you're saying that this is above Book of Boba Fett, but it sounded like you liked a couple of things in Book of Boba Fett better.
Yeah. I think this is the worst show. I'm sorry. I think this is the worst show. I think a lot of people think Kenobi's the worst show. I think we all had more fun watching Kenobi and its cheesiness week over week than any episode of this show. So it's getting 2.5 because the visuals were really good. I thought visually the show was great, but 2.5, maybe even 2. But it's by far, to me, the lowest ranked live action Star Wars show we've gotten.
I'm still putting Book of Boba Fett at the very bottom.
Yeah.
Because Book of Boba Fett, go watch it and you'll understand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving this a lightsaber and a half. Because same thing, like there's some cool stuff, and Balin was really good. The Anakin stuff is really good, but beyond that, hell, even the Uyang stuff was really good. But beyond that, this did nothing. They don't give a shit that the bad guy got away and they won. If they were trying to do an Empire Strikes Back type of thing, where we're gonna go find him, and like they fucked up, because at the end of Empire Strikes Back, when they went away, everybody was still very concerned about what is going to happen in the larger story or in the larger scheme of things that they're dealing with. There is zero sense of urgency, multiple parts throughout this show. And like we said, I don't want to get back into it, but again, you lost everything. You think Ezra survived. You don't know. You don't know that he survived any more than you knew he survived when he took Thrawn away 20, or I keep changing the years, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I keep changing the number. And you don't have a feeling through the Force. You're just like, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have a Force premonition about this? Do you have a feeling in the Force? Did Anakin appear and tell you? Nah, I'm just sure it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. So
I'm curious 1.5. I'm curious to see if you, or when you watch Andor, because I feel like you have to, where you put it. Because Andor, to me, was the most boring of all the shows, but I think it at least tried to be different. And that's why I have it over this show. I'd have Ahsoka at the bottom, Andor above that, Book of Boba Fett above that.
Wow. Okay. I'm shocked that you have Book of Boba Fett above anything, because I'm pretty sure you hated it.
Only because of 2 episodes. It's literally just the 2 episodes.
But then, like we've said, that's not... The train heist is 1 episode, and the Mando stuff is 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Is right? Those are the 2 episodes?
2.5. Because the train heist wasn't like the greatest episode of all time, but I had fun watching it.
Yeah.
The whole show was shit, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Andor is literally like you can fall asleep watching it. In fact, Star Wars Theory said that, and yet he still says he likes the show, which makes no sense to me. But Andor will put you to sleep super fast. There's like a handful of interesting parts about it, but they literally forget what they're going for as the show goes on. There's also time jumps in the show, which doesn't make sense, but that's for another episode. But pleasure. By by the time this airs, we probably have one more video in us as a team before the end of the year. So we'll talk amongst ourselves, figure out what that is. But yeah, it's been a fun year. A lot of good times, new shows, new projects. A lot of where was it? A lot of Ghostbuster stuff coming down the pipe. So, it's gonna be a good one, and hopefully all of you are with us in 2024 for that ride. Hey Archer Live every Thursday, 8:15ish p.m. here on Nerd Affiliated. Every Monday morning, 9 a.m.ish here on Nerd Affiliated. You have Nerdy Coffee. 2 different shows, 2 different vibes. Either way, potentially you're stuck with this guy. Rambling Nerd on Instagram, Nerd Affiliated on Instagram, Hey Archer on Instagram. And if you are truly a Ghostbusters fan, we started a whole new IG for it, The Real Nerdbusters on Instagram. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace. We're out of here.